Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are back with a brand new series, Pillars of Eternity. I've heard amazing things about this. Turn-based RPG, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. You have multiple classes that you can use at one point. It's like a group party that I've been very intrigued by. I've heard amazing things. They've came out of the Pillars of Eternity 2, and I've heard again also amazing things. The creators are Obsidian. They've put out some amazing games. They did the Fallout New Vegas, and they just make amazing games. There was another game that was on the Xbox Pass. Let me look at that real quick. Let's see here. What was the other game? They just Outriders? Is that right? Hold on 1 second. I think it was Outriders that they came out with. It was really exceptional game. But this is a brand new Let's Play. The plan is this, and there's another game eventually I'll be downloading to play also. Take a little bit of a break from Mycareer. I still plan to play Mycareer because you guys have been loving those videos, but just not as frequent on the Mycareer videos. Not every single day will I be posting Mycareer videos. This will be, I believe, the 14th of January when this video comes out. But let's go ahead and hop right into it. Storytime. Storytime mode is for players who are mostly interested in exploration and story development than the challenge of combat. While storytime is active, the enemy's composition of battles is the same as normal difficulty, but the game mechanics are biased as in the player's favor. Additionally, the party can carry an unlimited number of camping supplies. Easy. The easy difficulty requires minimal micromanagement and easily forgives mistakes in combat. It is strongly recommended for those who are new or recently returning to real-time party-based RPGs. We also have Expert Mode. Expert Mode disables a number of helper features in the game. Players who want to rely on their own faculties and intuition while playing the game should play Expert Mode. The option is selected when you start a new game. It cannot be enabled in game, and if disabled, cannot be re-enabled in that game. Trial of Iron. In Trial of Iron mode, only one save is kept for the entire playthrough. If the player is killed, the file is deleted and you must start again. This option cannot be changed in the game. The normal difficulty requires strategy and efficiency, but forgives a few mistakes in combat. It is not recommended for newcomers of real-time party-based RPGs. Hard difficulty is suited for Infinity Engine veterans who are looking for a challenge. Survival requires micromanagement and optimization of stats through items, spells, and abilities. Path of the Damned. In Path of the Damned difficulty, enemies receive a bonus to most stats and encounters have many more enemies. Warning, this option cannot be changed in game. It is intended for players who want the most punishing encounters. So that sounds quite ridiculous. You do that with Expert Mode and turning on Trial of Iron. If you turn these two on, that sounds really, really difficult. I'm not new to the I'm not new to turn-based party where they have a real-time party-based RPG. I'm not new to it specifically. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons here and there for the past 6+ years. I'm not new. I've played Divinity Original Sin. I've played my fair share of real-time party-based games, but for me, I've never have played this game before when it comes to, or I've never played this game, Pillars of Eternity. So we're going to go ahead and do story time because I like for us to have that opportunity to understand the lore and have some fun with it. When it comes to games, I tend to be very casual with games nowadays, especially. Ooh, I like the scenery. City Entertainment presents Pillars of Eternity. I'm planning on being quiet because I remember correct, the dialogue is actually read. I think this right here, like the tips, I can read out loud. Like the party's stash can be used for holding excess gear when their inventories fill up. Some items, like quest items and ingredients, are automatically placed into the stash. Like the actual dialogue of the story, I believe, is read out loud by people behind the scenes. So I'll go ahead and let them read it out loud. I've heard amazing things about this game. And the plan, like I said, eventually I'll be downloading another game for us to try out. And the plan is still to continue Mycareer. You guys have been loving those videos. You guys have been blowing it up. I'm about a week and a day, about 8 days ahead of schedule still when it comes to videos. This will be actually day 9 with this video right here. 5 wagons grouped.
Their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern, his own.
This is the dialogue for you guys.
The encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
The trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight. Okay. I guess I've fallen ill. Okay. Again, I've heard amazing things about this game. There's like DLCs, like 2 or 3 DLCs for this one. And they've recently just came out with Pillars of Eternity 2. I know Go Carnage has played both of them very thoroughly. He tends to go hardcore, like he goes and does like Trial of the Damned, and he did that Trial of Iron. Like he goes hard on it. I can go male or I can go female. The woman's role in Eora is largely, I want to say, is this music in the background? It's depending on where she is from. In the Ader Empire, Valian republics, and the Dire Wood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are primarily hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes of Nastadak and Glanfeth and Examital. Women and men have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and women can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. Okay, wow. The place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Ader and the Direwood place them in the forefront of military politics and heavy labor. Among the tribes, and Nastatic men perform many of the homesteading and organizational duties. In Glanfeth and Examital, men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. Let's go ahead and go with male. We can go with human. We can get +1 to resolve. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive. determination, and fearlessness in the emotions intensity that can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps players maintain concentration and contributions to the will and deflection defenses. Okay. Might that represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as fortitude defenses. +2 to might for the Aomoa. Okay, so the +2 to might. I'm gonna go dwarf. +2 to might, -1 to dexterity, but +1 to constitution. So they're not very ambidextrous, or not ambidextrous, but dexterous, which tends to be combat involved when it comes to, like, well, I can read right here. Dexterity is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interaction, it can be used for slight offhand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attacks, spells, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. And Constitution tends to be like your overall health and stamina, as you can read right there. So it's +1 to Constitution, -1 to Dexterity, but +2 to Might. Oh, and gets +1 to Dexterity, so they get more faster reaction time, and they get better offhand. Like, instead of just having a shield, they could go dual wielding with 2 swords, is what the idea is behind Dexterity. Perception represents a character's sense of well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy and reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. I like the idea of that perception. That's really nice. Next up is +1 resolve, -1 to might, +2 to perception. I like this. Like the +2 to perception. I'm fine with -1 to might. Resolve. +1 to resolve, which I think humans had that. Yeah, +1 to resolve, -1 to might, but 2 to perception. Godlike. +1 to intellect and +1 to dexterity. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be used for deduction, generalizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and area effects for all abilities and talents. To me, it's either godlike or Orlin. I like the idea of the 2 perception. That's really nice. I think I'll go with Orlin. Wild Orlin. Defiant resolve. After being subjected to a will attack, will Orlins temporarily gain bonus to all defenses. Minor threat. When attacking any target that is being targeted by a teammate, or Hearth Orlins convert some of their hits into crits. That's pretty nice. Their hits into crits. I'm gonna go with this one though. I like the idea of, after being subjected to will attacks, Orlin temporarily gain bonuses to all defense. I like the idea of being like a tankier one. I'm leaning towards, I know my classes: Barbarian, Paladin, Fighter, tend to be like a tankier build most of the time. Monk sometimes does that too. You can like right here you can see like +1 to stealth, athletics, and survival. Endurance is 42 plus 14 level. Average very high with 6 health. Accuracy very high, 30 plus 3, and then deflection is 25, which is very high. We'll go and look at fighter. High, average, very high, very high. I like that a lot. Druid, low, very low, low, very low, average. Yeah, when it comes to the specifics of like spell base, I'm guessing it's gonna be pretty low. Yeah, like priest, ranger probably be pretty low. Well, actually very high on the accuracy, but when it comes to the specifics of me going wild Orlin, the specifics of again a barbarian is going to be really nice. Paladin is going to be really nice. Comparatively to a priest, wizard, so on and so forth. This is going to be really nice right here. I like this one a lot. I think I'm going to go with fighter. It's my plan. In which I get either knockdown or disciplined barrage. The fighter intensely focuses on his or her training, significantly raising accuracy for a short amount of time. I already have a really high accuracy, so I'm probably going to go with knockdown. Shoves an enemy with an enormous force, knocking them prone and causing additional damage. 2 per encounter. Melee only, speed average. Effects, target prone for 5 seconds, accuracy versus fortitude. User full attack, 5 to 8 crush, 5 to 8 crush, accuracy versus deflection. Yep, I'll go with knockdown. So with the stars, that tends to mean that these are our primary ones that we want to put points into, because those are our main attributes for our character and are specifically our class and our character that we're going to want to put the most points into. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes both damage and healing as well as fortitude defense. Recommended for fighter 10 to 1. Orlin's already 9, so going 1 extra point is what they would recommend. So recommended for fighter 11 minus 1, which Orlin is already 10. Okay. Constitution recommended is 10. Contribution is a combination of character's overall health and stamina. Although it is not used in much interactions, it is checked to withstand pain and endure a physical taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. Highly recommend for fighter Constitution 10, which we're already at 10. Plus 0 endurance and health, plus 0 to fortitude. So I think we're going to go and put... Oh, it's... Okay, so I see what it's saying. It's saying highly recommended for fighter. It does not specify of what I have below. It is just saying these 3 ones right here, they highly recommend the most for fighter. Okay. Might go up to 14. 14. 14. Might go. Yeah. What I might do is actually, since I did go with Orlan, I'm gonna actually go in -3 for those, and then go put 3 points into perception. Have that be at a high point for, because I am Orlan, so that looks good to me. So now I can pick my culture that I'm in. Dexterity, resolve, intellect, constitution, might, and perception. I'm leaning towards, what was it at? Constitution. Because I do want to be a healthy, tanky kind of fighter. So I'm going to go with Rotai. Dominated by the Oma nation of Rotai. The Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Oma, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. Go with that. Go with a background +2 to lore, +1 to lore and stealth, +1 to stealth and mechanics. Traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers, draining their resources and maiming or killing those who are unfortunate enough to trigger an unforeseen floor plate. The mechanics skill makes it easier to open locks and find them and disable traps. Additionally, any character can use a mechanics skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanics skill, the more accurate the trap. In conversations and scripted interactions, mechanics can be used to activate and disable a variety of mechanics. Hunter +1 is stealth and survival, which is really nice. Mercenary +1 as athletics and lore. Athletics and mechanics. Lore and mechanics. +2 to lore. +1 to athletics and survival. I'm kind of leaning towards this. Athletics and lore. Go with that. Primary colors. Okay, primary color is this right here, which I can go with like, not really seeing much of an orange, unfortunately. Skin. Ooh, I like that green. Let's go with that. The skin, primary. Let's go with that. Okay, so I can't click on any of this other stuff. That's interesting. Well, let me click on how to change the facial structure and everything. Okay. I'm not gonna cry over it. Alright. Cocky, feisty, mystic, nobile, sinister, smooth, stoic, benevolent, female. Okay. Let's go with noble. Of course, everybody knows we gotta go with Kayfray. And done. it gonna read the dialogue out loud? I'm not seeing it. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go in terms of volume a little bit, just in case.
Everybody stays close to the
There
wagons,
we go.
got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there. Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
The reason why I'm looking over to the right is that I want to make certain that you guys are able to hear the dialogue, and that, like, for me, knowing the story to an extent would be nice, but for you guys, I like for you guys to read the storyline.
Stinging beetle round here carries it.
Or hear it more of.
You'll be fine once it passes your innards, unless you don't drink water, of course, which case you'll be dead in a day.
Dead in a day.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
Okay.
I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Okay, so now we have the options of where would I find these berries? What are those ruins? Is it dangerous out here? What are these huge rocks coming up out of the ground? I'll go about those berries then.
They grow on a bush that's common around here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one. Nothing you won't see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left.
The character's attributes, skills, class, race, culture, and sex may all open options in you in dialogue. These options are not necessarily superior to the other responses, but give you a wider variety of choices to select from. The manner in which someone responds to your choices depend on their individual personality and attitude. Okay.
Got different names for them. Settlers called them Ingwithans. Nobody that liked them enough to stop them becoming ruins, tell you that much.
Okay.
Not if you hurry about your business.
Not if you hurry about your business. Okay. Ouchie butt. Do they get out
this
here?
This time of year, rain mostly, and wind. But there's a different kind of wind out here time to time. Locals call it a beawick, born out of the ether, the spirit's path.
What is this
Never
music
seen it
playing?
myself.
Because there's no way he was
Never
talking this
cared to.
much. I can't hear. Oh, there we go.
They don't got hydra where you come from? Well, it just grows up out of the ground like this. Goes deep like tree roots. Some of it all the way to the heart of the world, you believe the stories.
Well, you believe those
It's
stories.
more like a shell
More
than
like
a proper rock. Easier to work if you're a mason. Got all kinds of strange properties. Seems to have some kind of life of its own. Dies if it gets dug up. Loses its luster. Folks think it probably grew at one point or another, but not the soul butchers in Defiance. Hold on.
Guess I'll get some berries
Take
then.
someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
Okay.
Kalisha. Kalisha! He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
Drop dead.
No
Okay.
promises.
Promises. Oh, I think it's
What kind of guide says something like that?
Cilicia.
Kind you can afford.
And you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well,
Don't
if
listen to
anything.
her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything.
Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Bewick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Okay.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Collect spring berries. Okay. Welcome to Purse of Eternity. If this is your first visit to the world of Eora, you may want to watch these windows to become familiar with the tools and interfaces available to you. Your party always consists of your character and up to 5 additional companions or adventurers. While the caravan is camped outside of Glenfathan ruins, Odima has assigned Calicia to help you. Calicia is a fighter, a class that excels at close quarter defense. Use her abilities to complement your own. Select a party member. Click on their selection circle, their portrait, or press a number button that corresponds to their position in the party, starting with one at the left. To select multiple party members, click and hold any on the screen and drag the marquee over the circles of that party member you'd like to conclude. To move selected characters, click anywhere on the screen where your cursor is as a circle of 4 wedges. All selected characters will path to their own corresponding position in the formation. If you see a red circle with a slash through it, you cannot walk on that part of the map. When multiple party members are selected, the action bar is hidden. To see an individual character's options, select only that character. Okay. So as you can tell right down here, we got my character, Kayfray, or our character, Kayfray, and then Calicia. I pronounced that correctly. But that is going to be it for this video right here. Just a little bit of a character make a character moment. Learn some information about our character, the backstory of what's going on with us. And in the next video, we will actually start to adventure out, look for our berries, and actually start to build a group. With that being said, guys, I'm in this video right here, and I'll talk to you guys later.